Hi, today we have Stoyan here with us. Stoyan Netkov is going to introduce himself a bit and tell us a bit about his projects. Stoyan, could you?
Okay, hello. As Agnes presented me, my name is Stoyan Netkov. I am a professor at the National Institute of Geophysics, Geodesy, and Geography. I am working mainly in the field of ecosystem services since more than 20 years, and my experience in this area started in 2006, 2007 with a project that was about flood risk assessment, then where we implemented hydrological modeling to define how the ecosystems within the river basin contribute for the formation of the flood, and then we developed this into flood regulation ecosystem service mapping and assessment that was incorporated into the matrix approach and have been published in 2012 with a paper that became quite famous from that time. And uh, after that, how we implemented this approach also in several other international projects, including Sustainable Water Action, which was in cooperation with the uh, Arizona University in Tucson, then in Esmeralda project about mapping and assessment of ecosystems and their services at the European scale, and to support member state countries. Then in Maya, which dealt with ecosystem accounting, again related with water services, but mainly focused on this water regulation, flood regulation in more precise terms.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a very nice overview of a lot of your work. Yeah, I am familiar with. Um, I could you introduce or tell me a little bit more about um, some of your projects, what the measures, what the goals were of the projects, and what the measures were that they were trying to implement, and how that worked out?
Okay, I can share now my screen to show you a few slides about my about our uh, project, which I would like to share experience. Uh, So this project is called Integrated Assessment and Mapping of Water-Related Ecosystem Services for Nature-Based Solutions in River Basin Management, or INES, which is funded by the National Science Fund in Bulgaria. So the main goal, the main objectives of the project is to develop the methodological framework for mapping, modeling, and assessment of water-related services in order to facilitate the implementation of nature-based solutions, which includes different kinds of restoration measures in water management activity. Our main activities in this project are the integration of elements of the 9 methodologies for mapping and assessment of ecosystem services in in the country and develop the water-related ecosystem services elements of the methodology by implementing new models and new approaches. This would help us to develop a flexible methodology which is based on modeling approaches and spatial analysis, because especially in water regulation modeling, or actually in water regulation assessment, we established that the modeling is in most cases the most appropriate approach, as there is not enough data measurements that can be used to effectively apply such measures. Then, based on this methodology, we are trying to quantify the effects of potential nature-based solutions, uh, and in order to be able to define the most appropriate areas where the restoration activities could be more effective. And this application is foreseen into flood risk management, into climate change adaptation, into the activities that are related to improving water quality, and also in some urban planning effects. So the main tasks are to demonstrate how the model's integration approach for mapping and assessment works at river basin scale, to present how models integration for flood regulation mapping and its testing in the our case study area, which I will show you. And to outline how we define so-called service providing as and service demand areas in the case study, in order to define nature-based solution target areas. And finally, to evaluate the effects of the potential nature-based solution measures, which include also ecosystem restoration. So this is our case study area, which is located in north western part of Bulgaria. It's Augusta River is right tributary of Danube River. Its upper part is case study for several projects in our institute. We have monitoring system there for quantity and quality of the water level and water pollution. Especially in this area, there is a problem with arsenic pollution, and we try to make as detailed as possible maps of ecosystem types in order to have good spatial basis for our modeling and analysis. So
Looks really interesting. Thank you very much for the presentation. So you're by your modeling, you're also targeting the potential of the landscape to arrive at a better water quality. Is that, or how are you delineating the options for nature-based solutions?
yeah, the primary goal is to assess, to evaluate how different ecosystems contribute to both better quality and flood regulation, or that's are the two priority services, but the idea is to make it also for other water regulation services, such as
Yeah. So not only for water.
control, also for if at the future for water supply or something like this, or in other words, to be able to assess the whole bundle of services that are typical for this area. But until now, we have mainly flood regulation assessment and uh, some works on the water quality.
I see. It sounds very interesting. Yeah. So you're delineating then areas for water quality that are relevant to, and these are then areas that could be targeted. So you're kind of doing the theoretical foundations of for any implementation of restoration actions, nature-based solutions, to be able to pick which are the best locations. Is that right? Am I
Yes,
getting it?
yes,
Okay.
yes. The main idea behind our work is to be able to define the optimal places where restoration measures could have the highest effect, and we made several tests with scenarios of potential restoration measures. We identified several places where um, forest restoration is needed because there are less forest cover, and we made a scenario with areas restored as forest, then made simulations with the hydrological model, and then we re-evaluate the ecosystem services, and this enables us to demonstrate how these restoration measures can improve the regulation function of the ecosystems, and actually this model can give us the option to say, if you make a restoration here, you can have this amount of added value in this area. And then the stakeholders can make better decisions on this.
Yeah, an informed choice. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you, based on your modeling experience, do you have, I mean, obviously you need to run the models for the whole area, but do you have some general rules where nature-based solutions and restoration might be the most effective, like further upstream, closer to the river, where there were agricultural lands, or I saw you had also sparsely vegetated areas, or maybe some specific soil qualities that make those places especially optimal for restoration measures. Do you have any general insights on that, or is it always just very site specific?
Okay. This type of the work is still ongoing. So at the moment, I could not make
Okay.
clear conclusions. But on the basis of what we've done, uh, one of the areas with highest effects of restoration measures is, of course, in the river floodplain, because there we can have both mitigation and prevention function, because according to our methodology, we distinguish between prevention function, which is the function of the natural ecosystems to absorb part of the river of the precipitation water before it goes to the riverbed, which prevents the flood for the formation of the flood itself. The other is mitigation function, which is when the flood is already happened and the for example, the wetlands in the floodplain, the riparian vegetation in the floodplain absorb part of the water from the flood. And in this case, they mitigate the potential effect of the flood. So in this case, restoration in the floodplain have both mitigation and prevention function, but at the river basin scale, probably the most effective are the restoration measures in sparsely vegetated areas because they have highest highest surface flow and improvement of the water regulation function in these areas have highest effect on flood regulation. Concerning water purification, then it's more in this case it's more place specific because pollution is depends very much on the sources, on the topography of the terrain, on the flow of the river, and so on. So in this case, the situation is much more complicated.
I see. So, floodplain interventions are among the most effective ones. So if you're closer by the river, then this is probably and then revegetation, I guess. Or do you also have in your model options for increasing hydrological connectivity with the side arms? Or do you also address these changes?
Yeah, this question actually reminds me about one of the topics of the project, the model integration, because there's no single model that can solve
Yeah.
all problems or different problems. The hydrological model which we use is good for measuring the effect on water balance, but connectivity is a matter of another project, another models. So this is in this case we are talking about the models integration. So when we have models that if we have models that can simulate the connectivity, then integration of these two models can give us better view on the potential effect of the restoration measures.
That sounds very interesting. I know of this problem from previous work that connecting the models and then that you usually have very specific models for very specific tasks and then aligning them is not very easy. But if your project deals with that sounds really great that you will have great results on where to put your nature-based solution and restoration actions. And so your results with you're dealing with one part of a water basin in the Ostrogod River. Do you think your results can be or well, it's probably not directly the results, but your insights, can they be upscaled to or transferred to other places, like in a similar way as I was asking, like generally, what do you think, what would be the most most suitable places to do some restoration actions? Well, would you be able to do that?
Yeah, thank you for this question because it's really important. The hydrological models such as soil and water assessment tool, which we were using, and its ArcSWOT version are quite time-consuming, and they require a lot of data and so on. And their applicability at a larger scale in various basins is not an easy task. So one of the objectives of our this flexible methodology, which I mentioned, is to develop this approach using more easy to use approaches. Usually they are not so precise as the specific hydrological models, but again, the integration of different approaches is the key. Our plan is to classify the river basins in the country into several classes according to particular criteria, and to transpose the use of hydrological models in one of these one representative basin, and using approaches such as curve number method, which is quite popular in United States, but in its implementation in another places like here in Europe is not possible because we don't have the empirical data which this method is based on. But using the results from our modeling, we can adapt variables, or we can replace the variables needed from empirical data which are not available for us with modeled variables. And then we can combining these two approaches, because the curve number approach is quite easy and fast to be applied, to make this approach possible for all other approaches. And that was actually that idea started from my project when we thought how to implement this approach for ecosystem accounting. But ecosystem accounting should be or the national statistics, which is the main beneficiary of ecosystem accounting. They need national scale results, and that was actually the idea how to solve this problem.
Okay. Okay, I see. Wow, that's so it might so with supplying from the output of from your models could be an input to the curve number modeling way to supplement or to substitute the missing empirical data, and that might enable you to elevate your whole or transfer your whole results to national level. That sounds pretty amazing. Okay. That's yeah, and I think that has a lot of potential, like for people doing restoration actions in the whole country to have such a resource to look up where or to use these tools for looking at most useful sites or most optimal sites to implement something. Okay, well, thank you very much. Yeah. Is there anything else that you would suggest to, I don't know, people who want to learn about how to implement restoration actions in freshwater, or you're mainly doing science about freshwater? So any take-home messages or?
Okay, one of the main, let's say, experience I learned from this project is that the close relation with stakeholders at each stage is crucial, because otherwise we as researchers like easily go into a direction which is perhaps say maybe poor research, go deeper into the processes, but which makes some good scientific products, but they can be difficult to be implemented in the real cases, such as restoration project. So this regular contact and communication with stakeholders is this important important element to keep us in the right track.
Yeah, I'm absolutely getting your point. Yeah, that's so very true. Yeah, I think we need a lot of that. Okay, thank you very much, Stoyan.
Thank you too. That was